full voice tonight because of, I've been tested. I'm good. I will be swallowing this mic tonight to get to you in the back. So many years ago, I was playing bass on the National Lampoon show. And we traveled across the country, and I'm not very proud of the amount of terrible humor that we spread. But on the buses, we spent, it was kind of dartboard diplomacy with our booking, and we played here, and then 9 hours later we played here in Northwest, and we worked our way across the United States on the northern route, and then we came back on a southern route. And there were some times when there was 8 or 9 hours of riding on this bus with 18 people in the cast and the band, and we had to occupy our time, so we told stories to each other, and we dragged these stories out as long as we could, because there was nothing else to do except play poker, and there was only one guy that won all our money. So Gene Hicks was our piano player, and he was the ace storyteller, and he told this story, and I just fell in love with it. He started in Houston, and it ended in Mississippi somewhere. And, I'm going to play all 189 verses for you. Walking along on a forest path, I was out to take a stroll, digging the trees and the moss and the grass. I was really getting small, when out of the corner of my only left eye, a sight captivated my glance. It was a little tiny thing with a big fur coat, and it was doing this rotary dance. Just a digging and a scraping and a doing his thing. Couldn't give a damn for approval when it looked up at me with this sad little face and said something that sounded like approval. It wasn't a cat or a mouse or a rat. It was too small for an armadillo. And it wasn't one of those little cute platypus things that they got down there in New Zealand. I looked in its eye, I said, hey little fella, hope this don't meet with your disapproval, but I'm gonna have to call you something, and that something's gonna be a ruval. Yes, you ruval, you said it first. But I looked real hungry, so I reached in my backpack to find it a tidbit or two. And I threw down at that poor little thing's feet, and I thought, what a nice thing to do. He looked at it once, sniffed it twice, then turned up his nose. He said, Ruval. I felt very sorry to impose. Well, I wished him my best, and I headed west home. But it followed me home, and there I was all alone, just me and this cute little furry critter. And whatever I would offer it, it would just kind of scoff at it and leave it there on the floor for litter. It wouldn't eat lettuce, carrots, steak, eggs, or barley corn. No, it wouldn't eat anything I would make it. It would just look at me in scorn and say, Well, in complete disenchant, I had my hands in my pants, and I kind of threw them up in the air in despair. And all this change came flying out of my pocket where it was lying and landed on the floor most everywhere. with a big old grin. You know the Roofer rushed in. He gobbled up all my coin. He went for that dough like a long-lost boat, just like a dog for a tenderloin. I stood there dumbstruck as it ate up $1.10 of my change, and I said, man, this thing must be demented. But then it rolled on its back, and its lips went smack, and I could see that it was quite contented. Straight from lunchtime, right up to the punchline. Hope this moral don't need no approval, but there's no denying, and I ain't lying when I say money is the eat of all Roofer. Yeah, that's about 1/10 of the song there, but I kind of edited it. Grew up in Brooklyn too, and we used to watch TV. I was the remote control in my house when I was about 6, 7 years old. My dad would say, "Hey, go to the TV, put the honeymooners on," and I'd go there and switch channels. And the antenna sometimes was not; it was rabbit ears antenna on the top, and sometimes he said, "Just grab it and walk around a little bit." So I did, and he said, "Okay, it didn't work out. Get a piece of tinfoil, put it on the hang, and I'd hang it." And I sat, I was standing on the side of the TV. I couldn't really see, and I felt like I was really not getting paid well for this. And then walked in the bathroom, and the water was running, and my dad said, "You got to jiggle the handle," which is the name of the song, and it's a long walk to the store to find its clothes, I know, but that's... You got to pull up your pants when life starts to get you. Give it a try no matter how it sweats you. The picture gets fuzzy, wiggle the hanger. Put on a piece of tinfoil on it, wiggle the hanger. If the bulb don't work, light up a candle. If the water keeps running, jiggle the handle. Got a heart full of sugar, belly full of suck it up, mind full of chips, so you better go and look it up. Nothing like the present, the start of the future with I haven't been there yet, but it's right on my list. If the bulb don't work, light up a candle. If the water keeps running, jiggle the handle. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta do to make it right. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta, don't give up the fight. No, 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 no. The oven don't work, start up the barbecue. The phone don't ring, she still could be missing you. You know you wanna tell her to go jump off the roof. She might say she loves you, but you gotta wanna see the proof. Bulb don't work, light up a candle. If the water keeps running, jiggle the handle. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta do to make it right. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta do, don't give up the fight. No, 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 no. You get a ticket for a tail light that used to glow all over you. A letter from the bank that said you're running overdue. A warning from the Fed that said they're fed up over you. The woman of the globe, is there really nothing you can do? The boat don't work, light up a candle. The water keeps running, jiggle the handle. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta do, don't give up the fight. No, 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 no. Do what you gotta do what you gotta. Do what you gotta do to make it right. To make it story of, I was babysitting a friend of mine's kid once, long ago. He was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was a wild kid. And I just sat him down at one point, and I said, listen, man, here's a pencil. Just draw me a picture. And he did. And it was a wonderful picture of this guy with all kinds of things on him, and it was just for a 5 or 6 year old, it was amazing. And I couldn't draw for shit. So basically, the line that came out then was, you draw pictures so easy. And I was almost jealous. And that line stayed in my head for years and years. And about 25 years later, I had the same experience with my daughter. And the song was written soon after that. You draw pictures so easy, she thinks so clear. Your mind's wide open, there's a cool breeze flowing near. You ask questions so boldly, why, when, what for? And you'll never be held to the things that you promised before. You're only a child with your delicate smile. World only goes your way. If I could look behind, do you think I'd find it? And you know when I'm teasing, but do you? Your innocence shows when I fool you with my grown-up ways. I can rule you. And you're so in a hurry to grow and have your say. But the times you ain't seen yet will slowly be slipping away. I was there before, yes, I gone through that door, and you helped me remember the day when I was that child with that delicate smile. You're only a child with your delicate smile, and the world only goes your way. Thank you. I was sitting in my living room with my family one day, and we ordered some pizzas, and my Aunt Fritzy walked downstairs, sat at the table. How many of you were here the last time I played? Only a few. Okay, so you might not have heard the story. Anyway, well, she walked in the kitchen, and she came back with a scissor, and there was a slice of pizza in front of her, and she started slicing up the pizza into little pieces and putting it in her sock. And we thought this was hysterical. And then we realized this was the first sign that we saw of dementia. And she looked at us, and the room was silent, just like it is now. Scary. And she just said, if you're not laughing, you're crying. And she broke the silence, and she gave me the permission to write this song. Easter eggs between her legs, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. She threw the birthday cake out in the middle of the lake, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. She cut the pizza into pieces and hid it in a sock, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. She threw off all her clothes out on the middle of the dock, a month of Sundays just to read the clock, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. And that's just the way it goes, that's just the way it goes. When you want to be free, take off your clothes, that's the way it goes. She ate a soup with a fork and her eggs with a spoon, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. She'd fart like a duck and howl at the moon, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. She loved to dance, she loved to sing, and like a mama bird she took me under her wing, taught me all the things that honesty brings, thought there was nothing wrong with that at all. And that's just the way it goes, that's just the way it goes. She told me when you want to be free, just take off your clothes, that's the way it goes. Well, she's 93, 93, with the eyes of a child as far as I can see. 93, 93, she's been so many things, and like a mother to me. And that's just the way it goes, that's just the way it goes. When you want to be free, take off your clothes, that's the way it goes. She told me when you want to be free, take off your clothes, that's the way it goes. Slowly. I was reading a poem by Sylvia Plath. Great poet. She inspired this. How to go from start to finishing. When you find all your skills are diminishing and your talents are now few, is it such? Is it true? Is there much you can do? Can I get introspective on you? Can I get subjective on you? Can you pull yourself through? I'm only thinking of you. It's got me thinking out loud just because what I think I want is what I think I was before they found her dead. What was in her head? That's what the poet said. Is that what lies ahead? There's more than one way to go. show. When you just don't know how to go from start to finishing, how to go. From start to finishing. Well, this is a sort of, it's not an old song of mine, but I've never done this in front of people, so I had to write it out. And we are in a coffee house. And so, good luck, Jerry. Anybody ever make coffee with a French press? Well, if you haven't, try it. It's the best coffee I ever had, I think, except for what I had tonight. You know? It's a true story, by the way, if you believe that by the end of the song. You won't. You know, I own a little thing called the Bodum. Must be French for, I don't know. You put coffee and water in the bottle. It makes a dynamite cup of joe. Such a dynamo cup of joe. Well, just this morning there's a crack in the bottom of the Bodum. Who's to blame? I don't know. But there I was holding the bottom of the Bodum with pieces on the kitchen floor. My lady came in, saw the bottom of the Bodum was in pieces, don't you know? She asked me what happened to the bottom of the Bodum. I just said, I don't know. She said, you better get the percolator, I'll replace it later. Right now I need a hot cup of joe. So I got the percolator like a kind-hearted way to put water in and threw it on the stove. And the flask made of glass and the bottom of the Bodum was anything but shatterproof. And though I was careful, I looked over fearful as I tried to remain aloof. My lady said the glass at the bottom of the Bodum can't break by itself, tell the truth. She said it real slow and I started to cry. I said, honey, I don't know if I'm lying, I'm dying, but I kept on trying to end this oratorio. Just then a pain like lightning, a feeling so frightening, hit me like a torpedo. My heart had stopped, so I called in the cop to help me get back my glow. But the crack was still there in the bottom of the Bodum and I had left the show. Well, I got up to the gate and told me to wait till the angel gets her arrow in a bow. And she told me, she said, you'd be lying if you're dying, and I thought it's time for you to go. Oh, please send me back, it was only a crack in the bottom of the Bodum, don't you know? Well, the angel replied, you just shouldn't have lied about a thing so shallow. If you want some slack, if you want to go back, I gotta ask the big fellow. And as time passed by and the big guy walked through the Golden Gate with a glow, I waited for a nice reply. He looked me in the eye and said, I don't know. Well, there's a crack made a hole in the bottom of the Bodum, in the bottom of the Bodum, in the bottom of the Bodum. Crack made a hole in the bottom of the Bodum, cost me eternally evermore. There's a hole in the bottom of the Bodum, coffee leaking on the floor. That god dang hole in the bottom of the Bodum cost me eternally evermore. Well, there's a hole in the bottom of the Bodum, in the bottom of the Bodum, in the bottom of the Bodum. Hole in the bottom of the Bodum, in the bottom of the Bodum, don't you know? What else we got? This is called Life is a Sideshow. Oh, life is a sideshow. Yeah. a glad show, a mad show, a sad show, or just a bad show. But life is a sideshow. Life is the first step. Remember when you got a lot of pep right up until that last step. That's when you got no gas left. They say life is rough and it's what you make it, but don't let it get you to where you can't take it. Look on the bright side. You know that you can't hide from the outside and all those sideshows. And everyone you meet, they'll try to explain it, that happiness and joy come with suffering and pain. Look on the bright side. You know that you can't hide from the outside and all those sideshows. Oh, life, yeah, life is a sideshow. Life is a sideshow. Yeah, life is a sideshow. That's it. There's a true story, actually. It happened around the turn of the century, 1916, I think. She performed every day at the big top tent. She had to work every day just to pay her rent. Not much different than you, me, or anyone. Oh, Mary was a heavy one. She got along with most everyone. She loved the kids. She loved to have her fun. Yes, Mary was the heavy one. Back in America in 1916, the air was fresh, the water was clean. In a small town of Kingsport, Tennessee, the calliope rang in the distance, had a familiar ring. And all the children would come out and sing. Everybody come out to sing. Charlie Sparks' traveling circus parade down Main Street. Now the circus needed help, as they did in every small town. Yeah, they'd hire some locals and they'd bought it down. Walter Eldridge, 38 years old, a drifter with no previous experience, was given the job of riding the elephants. He was handed the elephant stick, a spear-shaped rod that was used to train him, and he was told he'd do just fine if he used that stick to keep the giants alive. Yes, and Mary was a heavy one. She got along with most everyone. things were doing fine till the creature stopped to pick up a piece of watermelon. Eldridge got a little bit nervous and he started jabbing Mary time and time again. He started jabbing and stabbing Mary, telling her to move on ahead. Well, it got so bad, the giant turned around and threw him on the floor and stomped his head. Now for Mary, this was back in the time of mob justice. So they all came out and showed their fangs and demanded that murderous Mary be shot or hanged. All for doing what any animal would do. Who among us should hold her answerable to our human rules? Yeah, Mary was a heavy one. She got along with most everyone. Well, Charlie Sparks had to acquiesce, but forever the showman, he decided that he'd make a spectacle out of this, and this was his show plan. A 100-ton crane was brought in from a neighboring town. Yes, and there, right there in the village square, they put poor Mary down. It's hard to even describe the reports of what happened next. But witnesses say it took almost 45 minutes for Mary's last breath. It took so much longer and long for the deed to be done. Another life lost, but nothing won. Yes, Mary was a heavy one. She got along with most everyone. She loved the kids. She loved to have her fun. Oh, Mary was a heavy one. Yes, Mary. That's a true story, yeah.
Those bastards.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because in 1906, or around the teens of the... Thomas Edison was having a war with Tesla, who invented DC. And AC was the thing everybody used back then, and he didn't want DC to be used. So what he did was he started electrocuting all these animals at street fairs and state fairs all over the country to turn them away from DC. And he actually electrocuted an elephant in his big finale. And since then, every time I put on a light, yeah.
What city? Where did that take place?
It was in America, all over. Kingsport, Tennessee was where Mary was hung. There's actually, if you look it up online, there's actually a picture of her being hung, and one of her legs was tied with a chain to the ground, and she was stretched, and it's absolutely tearful.
You ruined my whole night.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, then I'm not going to sing the next song then.
So I was feeling a little bit under the weather for this, but I felt like I had to come because Denise wasn't showing up tonight, and if I didn't come, I'd feel totally guilty and bad. Because I love playing here. You're a lot of fun too. came, I guess. But I've never done this song in public, but I'll give you a little snippet of it because this is the way I felt. I was tested before I left, and I tested twice in the last week. It's just a bronchial type of thing, so no need to put on a mask or anything. I was going to walk in tonight with a mask and do that song, but I always thought the pandemic was, will it ever go away? And I said to myself one day, this damn appendix. When this damn appendix is over, when this damn appendix is gone, gonna dance on that viral offender, gonna sing me a damn appendix song, gonna call up my friends, gonna tell them, bring out the rights from the wrong, and I'll celebrate a happy ending, and I'll go and hang up the phone, and I'll drop that microphone away, and this damn appendix is over, when this damn appendix is gone. There's a few more verses, but you get the idea. Anyway. Thank you, thank you. Well, I had another tearjerker for you. No, I ain't gonna do it now.
I'm better now after that last little snippet.
All right. Am I good for one more? One or two? One or two? Okay. Well, you asked for it. I usually do my own stuff. This song tore me up. You've probably heard it. She walks to school with the lunches packed. Nobody knows what she is holding back. Wearing the same dress she wore yesterday. She hides the bruises with linen and lace. Oh. The teacher wonders, but she doesn't ask. It's hard to see the pain behind the mask, bearing the burden of a secret storm. Sometimes she wishes she was never born. Through the wind and the rain, she stands hard as a stone in a world she can't. But her dreams give her wings, and she flies to a place where she's loved. Concrete angel, somebody cries in the middle of the night. The neighbors hear but turn out the light. A fragile soul caught in the hands of fate. When morning comes, it'll be too late. Through the wind and the rain, she stands hard as a stone in a world that she can't rise above. But her dreams give her wings, and she flies to a place where she's loved. Concrete angel, statue stands in a faded place, an angel girl with an upturned face. Her name is written on a polished rock, a broken heart that the world forgot. Through the wind and the rain, she stands hard as a stone in a world that she can't rise above. But her dreams give her wings, and she flies to a place where she's loved. concrete angel. I'm going to do one more for you. This is an audience precipitation tune. I hope you join in with me because I like to be entertained too. So I was, when I was a kid, and we all were, weren't we? My introduction to jazz was watching a television show at Oscar Peterson Trio, and he was an amazing piano player. And Clark Terry sat in with him as a flugelhorn player, great flugelhorn player, and he was a big influence on Miles Davis later on. In any case, Clark Terry started doing this song called Mumbles. I don't know if you ever heard it, but tune into that. It's a great tune. This is an homage to Mumbles, and it's called Mumblers. Just added an R. Walking by the club, I was checking out the band. Oscar P was cueing the keys with a three-piece jam. And sitting in on flugelhorn, oozing wisdom with his eyes, Clark Terry stopped to sing a song. It took me by surprise. I thought he forgot the words, but soon I came to understand how genius and simplicity sometimes go hand in hand. He went, I said, what? Oh, I met a lady wrestler from a strangely foreign land. She beat the best Olympians in combat hand to hand, but she took too many shots and her jaw was wide halfway shut. I asked her to use the good half to explain to me what she got. She went, I said, what? Oh, not my day. Too many stumbles everywhere I go. Seems like everybody mumbles. Not my day. My life's a fumble jumble. Wherever I go, seems like everybody mumbles. You know, I took a bass sideman's gig with some eccentric bigwig. He handed me the charts, then changed the first song's key. I couldn't understand his handwriting or what it was that he put before me. And as I found the closest door to leave, I heard him yell back to me. He said, hey, come back, it's a funny face, a heavenly bunch. I said, fuck you. You know, over time I find I learned something from every new endeavor. And even if you cannot see where logic has its ring, Clark Terry and them folks taught me to play the same behavior. Anytime I want to get away from what it is that's happening, I just go, and I hear them go, what? You know, it's almost over. I'm depending on you. When I start the next G chord, I want you all to mumble to yourself, to the person next to you, to God himself. Get louder than this. Come on. Maybe it's hurts my ears. They say age can cause a crumble. Wherever I go, seem like everybody mumbles, not my day. Wherever I go, seem like everybody mumbles. You ready again? It's a lot of fun. It's a cathartic experience. Go! All right, thank you very much.